This meeting is now called to order. Has everybody signed in?
I haven't.
You haven't?
The Friday off after Thanksgiving. I don't know if that's gonna work. I mean, for now, really, now, to get the samples until we know what's in class one.
Most places do that, but here it's not. It's actually different. It's actually
Ron and Connie and David.
Here, David.
Has everybody had a chance to go over the minutes of the October 6th meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can those be read back for the public, please, before you approve them? So we know everything's on them.
Mary?
What?
Do you want to read the minutes?
If it's at your all's discretion if you want to. You guys are the board that are certifying it.
I prefer not to. I mean, it's all there.
Yeah, it'll be open for public investigation tomorrow. All you have to do is stop by here and ask to see it.
The reason I asked that question is, a lot of things happening here that ain't in the minutes that should have been.
And you know that how?
I know that when I brought my handicap stickers up, told them I wanted in the minutes, it wasn't put in there that time.
You did not say, I want them in the minutes.
Yes, I did.
We record everything.
Okay, then I'll form request a recording of that meeting.
Do we have a second for the minutes?
Second.
Yays?
Aye, yeah.
Okay, now the bills.
Did we do the checks?
I approve all the checks, but I don't know what, there's one in here just laying for Jonathan Mitchum. What is that for?
Jonathan Meacham, is that right?
Jonathan works the
We
sewer
pay,
plant
we
with
pay,
Ace.
we pay Jonathan Meacham $100 a month to do the sewer DMR report. Used to be Terry Cross, used to do it for us, but this guy does it now.
Okay. I make a motion to approve them.
Aye.
Okay. Next is the vacant structure ordinance.
I would actually recommend, just because I'm getting this over to Ron right now for printing it out, if you can
This Google
move one to the agenda and come back to it as soon as we
Okay.
can get the copies out for council.
and give the ordinances to what?
Committee reports, ordinances.
So for the ordinances, we're working on, this home rule ordinance, implementation and a flurry of ordinances that will relax things and make things easier for us to accomplish. That's what the ordinance committee is working on right now.
Cemetery. Angie, John, and Ricky.
Looks good. There's a couple twigs and stuff, but I mean, I moved them out of the way.
And there's some old flowers up there in piles or something.
Do you want us to
Maybe
do
we
it?
can, you can if you have time, or we can have Ace and Tyson to carry garbage bags and go up there and get that stuff.
Yeah, just let me know. I'll
Okay.
help.
The finance report is in your folders. Personnel committee, Jonathan, John, Devin.
We are looking at taking on a new police officer tonight,
Yes,
so
that would
That's-
come down under the next one also. Yes, yes, we are. Okay, the police is Ricky, Devin, and Angie. And he out there?
He's here.
Ryan, would you like to step in here? And this is Ryan Foster. He is our new full-time police officer. So everybody welcome him.
Nice to meet you.
He's gonna be on duty for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a couple things I wanted to interject on the police, or should I wait till later?
Excuse me?
I said I had a few things about.
Okay, yes, whatever.
One, if, since we're taking on a full-time guy, whoever you guys were saying is part of the committee on it or whatever, could we try and work out what a realistic budget would be for the town? I know you have a pencil whip one in there for just to fill space on the budget. I looked at some of the old numbers before when you guys had more police officers and less money, and the police was like 40% of your budget when your income revenues were about 240,000. Now it's about 18%, and your revenue's up to about 360,000. I'm not saying that we have to up it to that, but realistically, if we're paying him full time, and then I'm working part time, we got to try and figure in equipment, because we're gonna have to outfit him with stuff, and start doing some training, and then vehicle maintenance, gas, and all that. It's going to exceed what you guys have listed very quickly. So it'd be nice to know what the actual constraints were. I've talked with the county and the Governor Highway Safety money. We're gonna go up and try and get that signed off on, and that should give a little bit of money for overtime for him for the a month to go out and do highway patrol, to just write tickets and so forth. He won't be allowed to answer any calls in that time, but it'll be a few $100s, which will translate into about maybe 12 hours of overtime a month if he wants it. Then my second thing would be what you guys try and decide on us all looking the same. He said he had Glower at the other place he was at. This is up at Moorfield, it's one of the Glower shirts. Then you got kind of a dressier pants. They're all about $90 an item. You guys want us to wear these? Then you have to get some sizes and buy them. You want just like one outfit like that for court and all that. And then kind of what we're doing now is I just use the generic polos that I found in there, but we could get some done up at some graphic design place that has our names. This is an old one photo. I didn't have one with my name for Paw yet, but to give you an idea what it looks like, 5-button pants. These are about $25. Pants are probably about $50. Decide if you want a combination thereof or whatever you guys like. Well, you don't have to right now, but it'd be nice if we look the same, if there's going to be more than one of us. And then at some point, we should probably buy jackets and long sleeve clothes and stuff like that, since winter's coming, and gloves and caps and all these kind of things, which is why I was all set about with the budget. So, and then we will, with him, we're gonna sit down after this week and make an actual schedule for the both of us. At least go 1 month at a time, and know who's gonna be what and covering what.
Sounds like a plan. But I think the uniforms should be the ones that you prefer.
Well,
You're gonna be wearing them,
I'm just
you
saying,
know.
I like the casual approach, but then again, some people like us look all
Professional.
official. I just refuse to wear the campaign hat that the troopers have. Other than that, I don't care. But I will get with him then and see what we
Yeah,
can.
I think we have some
combine all
brochures
this.
or something for that, so, yeah.
Like I said, maybe one nice looking uniform for court, and then a more utilitarian one for patrol
Right.
and so forth.
Right, sounds good.
All right.
Do you have a budget committee yet?
Don't we have a police fund?
You do, but it's just pencil whipped in there to
Oh,
make the
okay.
numbers work.
No,
Probably something that we can start working on as early as next month. So you got kind of two options. You would have to have a budget modification if you did something this year before the end of the year. But in April, I think your budgets are actually due. So if your police department has increased in size, that should have a corresponding annotation in your budget for next year too. But if you can think about who you would like for a budget committee, start getting some resources your way, that way you guys can figure out how to answer both of those
Cause
questions.
it looked like just what they had done was just had the revenues and the outgoings match it without really a whole lot of, projection on what the cost was gonna be. Cause like I said, when there was more officers, it was a higher percentage of the, budget, but the revenues were less because they have the sales tax now and so forth. So I don't know if the needs increased once the other part came in, or if it's just shoved into other accounts to make it balance out, because it really didn't have a police force.
Yeah, without knowing kind of what the current form of your budget is, you guys get audited each year too. So I mean that's a requirement. So just have to actually look at what the budget currently says, and then that'll map out what your options are through the end of the year. And then, but if you have new department needs, you got time to get that figured out before budgets are due at the next spring too. So.
Cause I get a degree in business, I would like to know what my constraints were, and I could actually try and make up a real projected budget of what we would need if I know, like, how much I have to work with.
Very reasonable.
I feel it's better to do it that way than keep saying, we'll figure it out.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, streets and alleys. We met with Mr. Yonker from the 911 numbering system today. So I'll let Jonathan tell the people that's on this committee what we're going to do.
So Morgan County 911 is changing to a new system, and basically what's going on is that
I think you're good now.
Morgan County 911 has decided that they're going to begin enforcing the requirement to have the correct address on people's houses. And apparently in all of Morgan County, Paw Paw has a reputation for not having the correct address. As recently as last week, there was a person on Winchester Street that the ambulance could not get to because the person did not know their address, and the ambulance could not find them. So it's kind of like an ongoing thing that they are aware of, and they are, as this is going on, they're also switching to a new system soon. And so they're insisting that we, as the town, work with them to correct the addresses of the structures in town. And so they provided a new map, which I suggested we put on the town website. I think that's still happening. That will show precisely what your correct address is, because it's a 911 address. They're the ones that assign addresses, and
Yeah, but see, we used to have two addresses, one for the town, one for the county.
they insist that was correct.
Yeah.
It's
Incorrect.
just that when the town did it themselves, they did it wrong.
Cause they
Then the
sent out
county
that
came through and did it right, that people didn't
pink
change.
paper and you had to put them in your window. Do you remember that?
That was
I
for the
remember
county.
because the people from 911 were riding around,
Yeah.
and I stopped them to ask them if they needed some help. Well, they said something about the numbers then, and that was been a few years ago, and they wanted to know who put the numbers up and who gave the numbers out.
Mm-hmm.
And I plainly out told them that they're the ones that issued the numbers
sent it
for
out,
every
yeah.
house, and they didn't have no clue of who went around and did them. But it was their fault that the numbers were wrong.
It was Joan and Karen Kreitz, the postmaster, who numbered our town first, and they numbered them all backwards because they started it the wrong way. So you had an odd number then, you probably have an even number now through the county, because it's all about how the ambulance and fire truck reaches you from
Yeah.
where they are.
Well, mine's never changed.
It probably will when they go around.
No, I mean, the number from 911 is the one I've got posted.
Yeah.
Has never changed. My address is 149.
But they're gonna change it, right?
Well, these changes we're talking about happened 27 years ago.
Yeah.
It was between 1998 and 1999. And so they've been trying to get it corrected this whole time, and now they've basically just had enough of it. And so they're giving us an opportunity to fix it. And then they're gonna come in and it's gonna be a $500 fine every day that the our structure does not have the correct address. And so what I'd like to do, what we talked about, is tomorrow morning, they're gonna give us Microsoft Excel file with every address in town. And I'd like to split that up between, me, you, and Ricky to go around and check, okay, this is the address, is that the address that's on the house? So that we can let people know this is coming
Right,
as early as possible, so they have time to fix it before the county cracks down.
got it.
And if not, you give them this little paper that tells them that they have 30 days to correct it or they will be fined.
And it's $500 per day, every day.
The county has an ordinance saying that.
So an option that is available for you guys if you wanna consider at some point in the future, cause I don't think it's on, what's the agenda item right now?
We're just on streets and alleys.
Okay, so it'd have to be on a separate agenda item if this is something you guys actually wanted to discuss. The municipality has the ability to have its own house numbering ordinance. A lot of municipalities have this, and a lot of times that's kind of where this effort lies. I think that the county could actually have some jurisdiction issues, if somebody wanted to push back on this. So
Okay.
it might actually be an appropriate thing if this is something that you guys decided is an issue that you wanna look after. You can have your own town numbering ordinance, and then you can set like, this is the size, this is where they go, this is where they're placed, and then you could do that in conjunction with the 911 mapping efforts to make sure everybody's on the same page. That would also be the only way that you would have any enforceability. So unless you by ordinance adopted the county standards, which maybe you could just do, right now you don't have an enforcement tool, so you can't go out and tell anybody that they have to do it. It's a county official that
Yeah,
would have to tell.
we're not trying to enforce it, we're just trying to get ahead
Prepare.
Yeah.
of the county.
It's like I said, but it's a thing that is available for you guys to consider if it's something that you wanna do in the future. Work through the same thing with another municipality, so I've got templates too, for future consideration, if that's the direction that you guys
Yes,
want.
that is what I just said.
What's that?
I heard somebody whisper over here, that's not what you just said.
I said, well, it's
That
not what
is
she
what I
just said. She said if the
That was
numbers
a
ain't right, give
distraction.
them this piece of paper and tell them it's a $500 a day fine. Is what she said. I didn't say you.
So you guys do have decorum bills. You passed those a month ago, so if that's something that you need to do, public comment has an appropriate place on the agenda. I would encourage you guys, if you've adopted the rules, to kind of use them. That contemplation of an ordinance from the town is just something, if you guys decide to move that direction, you can let me know and you can put it on the agenda at another meeting to do it. But like I said, if you wanted to have any enforcement mechanism at all, that's the only way, is you guys would have to take an official action. But if not, you're just kind of volunteering to help the county out in their effort.
Right, that's
Right.
exactly what we're doing. Okay,
While we're on the streets and alleys, you know what we were on?
Yes.
Yeah,
There was a camper parked on Amelia Street. Partway on the sidewalk, partway on the road. I believe they might be partially living across the street from Gilbert, where Andy Boer was living, would be the road truck house.
you get an opportunity, you can check that out. Thank you. Okay, water and sewer, John and Angie.
Things are pretty good. Ernest is, I'm sure has something to say. It's not already on here for the agenda.
you got anything, Ernie?
I have one major item. We have a fire hydrant down here going back to the sewer plant. From what I understand from Ace and another gentleman that worked here, that fire hydrant is a dummy. It's just there. There's no
Non-usable.
non-usable, the water line going back to sewer park's not big enough to put a hydrant on it. My question is, can I get the board's permission to remove it so we do not have any legal liability problems in the future?
There's a sign hung on. Not that I know if that's,
And I've seen some cases, signs don't mean nothing.
well, it's,
But I'm looking at the legality of it, if somebody would try to hook up to it and
So
not
do
able to
you,
get water,
does it need to be there, like a real one,
no,
working one?
no.
I say take
It's
it
been
out.
abandoned for 10 years or more.
Why?
I think it was there when the trailer court was there. And then after the 85 flood, 90, was it 2 flood?
I say take it out. I'll make a motion to take it out.
Second.
Aye.
I vote for insurance fund.
I'll have it out by the end of the week.
Whose mobile home down there in the trail? Who owns that? Beside our little restroom, visit station.
George Miller,
Why is it there?
because he owns that piece of land.
But I thought we were allowed to have trailer there.
Well, you're not, but how many others do we have in town? And we've, tried to negotiate to buy that piece of land, but so far we haven't been able to get a hold of the correct people that are on the deed.
So he's not on the deed?
No, he's not, he's just a friend of theirs or something. And he's been there for a long time.
Well, he shouldn't be then. That's a flood zone.
With the floodplain laws is you can have a mobile home or trailer as long as it's mobile. It has to be mobile and licensed for evacuation if need be. Other than that, you can't stop them.
You guys have decorum rules.
Exactly.
What's that?
So there are decorum rules, so public comment is reserved for us. There's a certain section item on the agenda in which everybody that came and signed up will have the opportunity to present before the town. It's actually against the decorum rules for the town to speak out during regular meeting time, so.
Okay, well, I understand that, but when you're on that subject and people's making false statements, they need to be corrected.
Actually, sir, that's against the decorum rules which were adopted by the town.
So you're running the meetings now, not the mayor?
No, sir, I'm just stating what the decorum rules are, but the decorum rules are available for you if you'd like a copy.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, Jonathan, would you like to tell us about your social commission?
Yes. So we had a, I think we skipped Parks
Parks
and
and
Rec.
Rec.
Well, do we really have a Parks and Rec commission?
No.
Because it's supposed to have like all these people.
Yes, but to that end, I just wanted to put a little report out there. I believe the buildings have been winterized. I don't know if this is something we vote on now, or we need to talk about it now, so we can vote for it in December. But I would just like to, we have spoken about it in the past, putting chicken wire or just some type of barrier up in the top corners of that pavilion for the pigeons, because they're awful, you know. Other than that, there's not too much to report. We had spoken about it. I guess this is also something we can put on the agenda for next month. It came in conversation. The Little League's contract is very dated. And for example, actually wasn't even Pawpaw Little League that signed it. It was other Hampshire Little League. So we just want to get that renewed and actually have some more clear documentation of, you know.
I was out there last Saturday and there was a family getting ready to, they was having a birthday party, I guess.
Yeah.
Jason?
Yeah.
Before they got there, I had my granddaughter there and there was trash everywhere. CDs everywhere, on the picnic tables, they saw them.
CDs like compact discs?
Yes.
Like,
So I took all that trash and I threw it away before they did end. But they was there, they'll tell you.
huh, okay, yeah. Cause I was gonna say the Little League wrapped up actually earlier than anticipated. It was more in like early, mid-October. So we had everything cleaned down there at one point, so.
I mean, this was like restaurant trash,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
takeout.
I guess they must have cleaned it though. Jason's family did.
I did.
So. Oh, you did? Okay. Because I was gonna say
Thank you.
it seemed. Yeah, thank you. Because I was gonna say it seemed when I left the
Well,
party.
it was right
seemed
before they
okay.
got there, but they was there when I was cleaning it up.
Oh, okay. But anyhow, yeah. Just besides that, everything seems above board.
Good.
Now it's your turn, Jonathan.
All right, so we held our first meeting of the social commission. We had some pretty good, success there. We've pretty much planned out most of what we would like to do for the next year. Again, we're keeping to that once a month, goal of having a new event for the residents to do something. The first three are December. We'd like to do a, partnership with the senior center. We'd like to do a Christmas cookie fundraiser. And basically how it would work is, we provide the ingredients and the prizes, and the senior center coordinates the cooking of the cookies. And when the public comes in to judge, to eat the cookies, they donate money to the senior center. We have a recommended minimum donation of $1. And all the funds that are collected will stay with the senior center. That's December. For January, we're looking at doing a New Year's ball with music, live music, and dancing. For February, we'd like to put together a small business event to coordinate with all of the local organizations to promote small businesses here in town. Later on in 2026, we'd like to coordinate with Travel Berkeley Springs to do a bike event that either begins in Paw Paw or ends in Paw Paw. We are discussing that with them. And I'd like to make a request. So basically, the funds that would have gone to me as a town council person, I have not accepted because I do not want to take any money from the town. So those are technically viewed as charitable contributions to the town. Currently, there's $450 that would be viewed as charitable contributions. So I have no power over them as a private citizen. I would like to request that $450 be donated to the senior center so that we can buy the ingredients and the prizes for the Christmas cookie event. I think it's probably gonna cost about $1,000, but if I can get those $450 that I would have collected, I'll come up with the other $550 myself, and we'll put on this event for the senior center.
That's good.
Sounds good.
So is that something we vote on now?
Do we vote on it?
Or is that something that's gotta be?
You can go.
Alright, well, I guess I'll make the motion.
I'll second
Can I vote on that since I kind of, I have a conflict of interest?
Yeah,
there, I
don't
think.
if you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think the only other two things to interject is we don't have a follow-up meeting just yet for the social commission, the next meeting, but we'll get the date for that. But we held the first one at the Starting Point's office, and location seems good. And then the sidewalk commission, for anybody who would like to go to that one, it is the 10th?
That's correct.
10th at 6, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so for anybody who would like to just,
What's that date again?
it.
November 10th, 6 o'clock, Starting Point's building. And we just kind of brainstorm from there.
I have a question. Where's your New Year's ball? Senior center?
It would be in the gym,
Gym?
yeah. That's more something that I've been kind of spearheading, where I'll talk to Casey Camp and just make sure that there's no ball games or practices interfering. And there was a lady from the senior center who wanted to do a ball. She didn't exactly have a date in mind, but as we were kind of looking at activities for the month, it was like, that would be a cool way to usher in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
We're ready for this one, whenever.
Okay.
It's a vacant structure.
Vacant structure, registration program, and uninhabitable structure registration program.
You want me to take it?
Hmm?
Said you want me to take it?
Absolutely.
Alright, last month and, even in conversations over, just interacting with you guys, it seemed like you were interested in, exploring the possibility of a vacant structure registration program here in the county. So that's enabled by West Virginia Code, and it's a really, really good tool. So if you look across the state, it's one of the biggest issues that are, one of the biggest issues that is impacting economic development across the state. 1 in 16 structures in West Virginia is either vacant or dilapidated, and it's one of the things that you can do as a local government to help encourage growth, right? So you want to discourage structures from being vacant and falling down, and a vacant structure registry is a tool in that toolbox. So what you have in front of you today is a ordinance. So it's an ordinance that would create the registry, and then just the way that it works is if a property becomes vacant, and vacant has a definition, and if a structure is vacant, then it goes on the registry, and on the registry it will eventually accrue fees. For the first year that it's on the registry, there's no fees. So the ideal situation is one in which, hey, the public is made aware that you're going to create this registry. It's, it's going to exist, and then eventually fees will come out of it. But people have enough time to react too. So for the whole first year, they just get notified, you're gonna be on the registry, let us know if you disagree, you're on the registry. That first full year, no fees. And then after that, there's a fee schedule that goes up year on year. So you guys actually have that copy of the ordinance now. The big takeaway for it is it's $0 the first year. 1 to 2 years is $500. 2 to 3 is $1,000. 3 to 4 is $2,000. 4 to 5 is $3,500, and 5 years plus is $5,000 a year. So it gets increasingly more expensive to let a structure not do anything. It's a really, really good tool. So I've seen this go into a municipality that's not a ton in different size from Paw Paw, and they went from having 78 structures that were eligible to be on the registry in the first year, and they took 48 off of the registry as soon as they
Wow.
created the structure. All voluntary, nobody got a fine, nobody got anything.
Good.
People just started putting structures to use. So the way that structures can come off of the registry is that either they move in, somebody moves in, you rent it out, you sell it. Selling it, somebody actually has to either have the property being marketed, actively being marketed to sold, doesn't count as vacant. Somebody starts a business there, but it's actively actually used, right? So that's the thing. That's another part that we'll understand about the ordinance, or hopefully understand about the ordinance, is that it's actual use, not nominal use. So if somebody comes in and just says, hey, I run my business there, but they don't actually run a business there, there are things that your code officer is going to be empowered to look at to figure out whether or not it is actually used. And if it's a real business, great. And if it's not, and it's somebody just, saying, hey, I registered a business there and I get mail there sometimes, that's not going to cut it either. So putting the structure actually to use is contemplated in this. There are also contemplations and carve-outs for structures that are really well taken care of and ready to be moved in. And that's part of the thing too, because you're not really as worried about structures that are in really good shape and somebody can move in at any moment, they're just not living there. So it's a pretty good product. It's a really good tool. All of the funds that come in from the fees get earmarked. You have to use them either for public safety or for dilapidated building remediation. I've seen this play out really, really well, as in like the first year or two's worth of fees got used for a public cleanup in another municipality, and it worked really good. So it worked hand in hand with the nuisance ordinance, so people didn't get tickets for picking up trash. You just went out and did a public cleanup used for these fees. It's just a good tool. It will not supersede or get in the way of code enforcement. If you guys decide to adopt the International Property Maintenance Code or the Building Code or Dangerous Structures Ordinance, all of that can operate in addition to this. But what it does is it creates an incentive for people to put structures back into use, and that's what you want in Paw Paw. You want people thinking about how they can fix the structures up that are here and move in. You don't want people buying and then leaving and then waiting 20 years to figure out if they're gonna
Can I ask a
sell the
question?
property.
Can I ask you a question about that?
No, you're not allowed.
What if somebody comes in, say a developer or somebody, and they wanna start fixing homes off?
No, when it's after we're done, then you get a chance to speak.
If you guys have additional questions about the ordinance, you're more than happy to, you're gonna have to have, every ordinance, you have to have 2 readings anyways. This could be the first reading if this is the direction that you decide you wanted to move. The ordinance is drafted, it's in front of you. If there are non-substantive modifications that you wanna make, or wanna propose between now and the meeting in which it's adopted, we could do that as well. But just know that this is after it's been played around with, and it was built kind of around working with a code office that's about the size of the ones that you guys have. So I think it's pretty manageable stuff, and I've already got all the forms, I've already got all the flow charts, everything to where you pretty much plug and play if this is something that you guys want to work with.
Do I just make a motion to adopt it, or?
You certainly could. What you have to do is have a reading in title only, or at least a reading in title only, so the first reading of the ordinance, if that's what you guys do today. If you don't have any additional questions.
I'd like to read it today if we can.
My throat can't handle it.
Oh, no, title only, so yeah, I'm also happy to read.
That's not gonna work.
So, read in title only unless a member of the body wishes that it be read in full. Hearing none. Town of Paw Paw, West Virginia, vacant structure registration program and uninhabitable structure registration program. Alright, and then just the adoption is, there is hereby established and adopted a vacant structure registration program and an uninhabitable structure program for the town of Paw Paw, West Virginia. These programs shall be administered in accordance with this ordinance, which is intended to protect public health, safety, and welfare in the community and encourage the productive reuse of existing structures. Cool.
Need to make a motion?
Motion.
You guys can if you want to.
I'll make a motion that we adopt this,
Second.
the vacant.
Yes.
I'm, like I said, until I read into the whole thing, I'm not signing off.
Okay. Ready for the home rule?
You have home rule on the agenda?
Yes, it's the next one.
Alright.
Did we need it?
Well, you don't really need it, but it's a good update. Okay. So, the reason for last week's meeting was to get ahead of a statutory timeline. Town of Paw Paw is interested in submitting a home rule application. We went over the ordinances that will be the basis for that application, and then you guys have now a application that is reviewable by the public. It'll be here for 30 days, and then on December 1? On December 1, you're gonna have a hearing in which you will consider an today's an ordinance. You will have an ordinance, what is on that? Is it home rule ordinance?
Says first reading home rule.
Okay. So today, you'll have a reading of an ordinance authorizing the mayor to submit the home rule application. And then on December 3rd or December 1st, you'll have a second reading of that ordinance and a hearing, public hearing, which will take comments on the application itself before submitting. All of this happens this far spread out because there's a statutory prescription for what has to be in that packet, and then the time it has to go down to the home rule board 30 days ahead, and then you have to have it publicly accessible for 30 days before that. So the applicant or the board meeting in which you find out whether or not you get approved isn't until January 8th, but these are just the steps that you take until then. So let's just go over the home rule ordinances that you guys decided to go with, just for posterity. So in your application, you were submitting a 4-part application for administration citation authority for code enforcement. So to allow your code enforcement officer to work directly with a lot of the codes that are authorized under 81216, IPMC, your fire code. Through the conversations that we've had, you guys have indicated that blight remediation is a high priority. This is one of the most popular tools. Almost every single home rule municipality that applies requests this.
So we have to get a code officer?
You will have to get a code officer for certain things. So if, this is a decent part of this conversation. For IPMC or for building code, you have to have somebody that is certified by the state fire marshal's office. What that means is that within 2 years of hiring them and bringing them on, they have to complete the certification. But for that first 2 years, if they are a public employee and you have adopted the code here locally, they can work on their provisional status. So it's not a roadblock, and you can also work with other local governments if you say, hey, we want to bring on an ordinance which requires a code officer, but we don't know if we can staff it right now. You can work with adjacent governments that have the same program and borrow on their capacity as well. But for the home rule authority, right? So this is the big thing to remember is none of this is automatic. You are just getting permission to do these things in the future. But because the home rule board only meets once every 4 months, we got to get it done. That way you guys can work through this process at your own speed once you get the authority. Just the same way with the administration or administrative citation authority, the lease and sale property without mandatory auction is the other thing that goes in every home rule application. So essentially it allows you to get fair market value for the properties instead of if you sell it at public auction and you're going to get 30 cents on the dollar if you had to sell a piece of government property. So you've got that, and then you've got an ordinance essentially streamlining your process and bringing some of the things that would happen at the magistrate's office in and letting your local judge do it. So if and when you build your blight remediation process, your own judge can handle things in-house and make things run a little bit smoother. And then modification of board sizes. You guys requested the ability to move 3 board sizes down from 5 or 7 minimum members. Actually, Development Authority would have been 12 as a minimum, and you wouldn't be able to do that in Paw Paw, down to a minimum board size of 3 to 5. So those are the components. Like I said, the application is going to be here reviewable by the public for the 30 days, and you guys are going to have the ordinance. Let's just go ahead and pull up the ordinance real quick. Sorry, not having this pulled up. So all this ordinance would do would be to authorize the mayor to submit the application at the end of the public review period. In order to move forward today, you would have to have first reading in title only and take a vote on it. So in title only, the ordinance would be Town of Paw Paw, West Virginia, Home Rule Amendment Application authorization ordinance. An ordinance pursuant to the provisions of West Virginia Code 815A authorizing the town of Paw Paw to submit a written home rule proposal to the Municipal Home Rule Board in order to permit participation by Paw Paw in the Municipal Home Rule Program.
Your motion,
I'll make the motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What was that?
Nay.
Nay, thank you.
Now, the ordinance creating the planning commission.
All right, so that one came out. Last step.
This one,
Yes.
2 pages.
Okay, so really cool news on this one is that you guys have already retained the best folks in the state to help you through this. So talk briefly about, I think it came to you guys through conversation with Region 9, in which the Regional Development Authority is trying to encourage municipalities in the region to pick up comprehensive planning. There's a couple reasons for that, right? There's statutory, so you can't have zoning, you can't have saldos, and there's a couple other things that you can't do without a comprehensive plan. The other pragmatic thing is that pretty much every grant application that you're gonna write wants to see an updated comprehensive plan, and they wanna see it specifically relate to the thing that you're applying for grant funding for. I'm a lot more passionate about it for a different reason, and I think that it's how you actually grab the input from the community and then build that into policy that's gonna steer the governing body over the next 10 years, if you do that well. The thing that I think is really encouraging here is that before I got to come on board, you guys already linked up with the Land Use and Sustainable Development Clinic at West Virginia Law, or West Virginia Law School. They're the best. They do it all over the state. They do it cheaper than anybody else for comparative work, and you also get the full benefit of, they've got a team of attorneys who have done this all over the place, and they've got law students that'll work on your file for you. I actually called and talked to the managing attorney that's gonna be working on this, confirmed that you guys are under contract with him, and you are. So, the first step is establishing a planning commission. They already provided this ordinance for you, so use theirs, not the one that I drafted. I was gonna put one together for you. But now that you've already got them, it's really, really good. You've got one of the best resources in the state to kind of help you guys as you move through this process. And what I would say is that the comprehensive plan process itself is really, really a strong foundation for a lot of the work that you guys want to work on. So instead of me coming in here and pitching, hey, this ordinance, you guys will work through all of the why and how each of these solutions might be tailored to your community as you go through. I mean, we kind of skip some steps whenever I laid out a bunch of different things that you guys consider, but the comprehensive plan process is a really, really super solid foundation for you guys. So in order to get that going, you have to have a planning commission. Planning commission statutory requirements are that it's 3 members for a bare minimum, 3 members for a class 4 municipality, and there are some requirements for membership in the composition. There's an update to code that happened last year in which the person has to have lived in town, or I think it's lived in the state for 3 years and lived within the municipality for 1 year, is the new update. But apart from that, everything's pretty well, pretty consistent. So if you guys have, this ordinance doesn't do anything other than create the planning commission itself. It also spells out what the roles of the officers are. I believe it's just a recitation of state code pretty much. So it tells you you've got a president, vice president, and I believe this ordinance also allows them to set their own rules, which is what you want. this is their one that they've used across the state, so there's not gonna be anything crazy. Do you guys have any questions about the ordinance that's here, or why you wanna start a planning commission, or what the end state is, or what we're doing right now? Okay, so just the same, first reading, you can do it in title only, and then should I move on?
Make a motion.
Second.
So let's just read it in title. Ordinance creating Paw Paw Planning Commission. I'm gonna go ahead and read your purpose and creation. Section 1-1. To promote the orderly development of the community, to promote the health, safety, convenience, and welfare of the citizens of Paw Paw, and to plan for future development of the community. A municipal planning commission is now created and established under the provisions of Chapter 8A of the West Virginia Code. The commission should support and pursue the goal of maintaining a plan and vision for the future of Paw Paw and overseeing agency. The commission will uphold the town of Paw Paw goals of reducing sprawl, protecting the needs of agriculture and residents, planning growth with efficient and economic use of public funds, and promoting growth that is economically sound, environmentally friendly, and conducive to livability and the quality of life in Paw Paw. Okay. First reading done.
We hear a motion.
Well, I think you guys.
Yeah, we did.
you already-
We did that already? Okay.
Council member would have to read that into the thing, not the
Yeah.
lawyer.
Now I think it's Ron's turn,
Ron,
administrative
your turn.
reports.
What am I on there for?
The, proposed bond ordinance.
Final reading of the warrant, yeah, we've had 2 readings the past 2 months. This is the final reading of the, bond ordinance for, funding the water project.
Okay.
You know, you still have a copy of it? I have a copy there.
Yeah, everybody got a copy of stuff. This is it.
I don't know if you need, do you need to read it again? Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah.
Title only unless you, if you want me to read it for you.
I would like you to read it for me.
Okay. This is agenda. Ordinance authorizing the acquisition and construction of additions, betterments, and improvements to the existing public waterworks system in the town of Paw Paw, and the financing the costs not otherwise provided thereof through the issuance of the town of Paw Paw not more than $1,500,000 in original aggregate principal amount of water revenue bonds, Series 2025A, West Virginia DWTRF program, and not more than $2 million in original aggregate principal and amount of water revenue bonds, Series 2025B, West Virginia DWTRF. Your block of text. Program/forgivable, providing for the rights and remedies of and security for the registered owners of such bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of all documents relating to the issuance of such bonds, approving, ratifying, and confirming a loan agreement relating to such bonds, authorizing the sale and providing for the terms and provisions of such bonds, and adopting other provisions relating thereto.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Aye.
Natalie, guess what?
You're up.
I am here to talk about the Paw Paw Parade Committee and what we're doing on December 7th. We are going to have the annual Christmas parade. We are also going to have some vendors at the fire department that day. and we're still working on some other details. Hopefully we'll have some good family fun on that day. Also, I needed to ask if we could get a donation of at least $250 to help, with the costume contest that we're gonna have that day. The best Santa helpers will get $50 apiece, for that. So, just wondering if you could do that. We didn't get to ask last year. I think we had enough funds to handle it on our own, but this year we're just so short.
I'll make a motion to
Say,
What did she ask for?
$250.
$250. And also, could we use the town park, for the horse lineup? They can really, as long as they clean it back up themselves. And Devin, did you say the concession stands already winterized?
It is winterized, correct, Ron?
Yes, it is. I mean,
Okay.
you can turn the water back on, but they winterized it, yes.
Okay.
If you want the bathrooms, you can turn back on.
Is that a huge hassle? Just,
not
I
really.
mean, I can ask them to
No, it should be a
go somewhere
You
else.
want the bathrooms for?
You want the bathrooms?
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Did we do it before?
yes. I don't think, you closed it up this early before, so. Okay.
We're very productive.
Yes, you are. And also, use the town cones. Ace usually has those out along the side streets for some extra security. And if there are some police presence, that would be wonderful. Again, that's December 7th. Oh, and we are doing the Christmas tree lighting. The Alumni Association is, taking care of that again the same night. We'll light the town Christmas tree after the parade. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David, you're up.
Okay,
You still here?
I'm still here. So a couple things from the Canal Town meeting that I thought would be of interest. There was a presentation on the Riverfront Park project that they're doing down there. It's about 1.2 miles along the Potomac River. They're gonna add canoe and kayak access points to the river. They're partnering with Ridgely and Carbondale, West Virginia for river access points as well. It's a $30 million project, and they've got $10 million raised versus grants. They're looking to start in the summer of 2026. And here's the big number, expected to bring 1 million new visitors and have an economic impact of $46 million.
Wow.
So we just need to bring some of those people down this way. Another interesting fact, each overnight visitor to Cumberland, which is primarily cyclists, spends $300 to $600 during their visit. We're the next logical stop if they're on to or from here. So 30% of their tours and business is from cyclists. They're also all coming by here, and that's up from 15% 7 years ago. So the biking world continues to grow. And there was work underway to extend the bike trail from Pittsburgh to Cleveland and Pittsburgh to Erie, which is just gonna bring more people out there. They start doing from Cumberland, and they go from Pittsburgh, and now they're gonna add on those other 2 trips as well. And a lot of people, they do it more than once. They do it one time to see how fast they can do it. They realize how much they're missing. They make points to come back here again. So I think that's a good sign for us. Part of that is signage on the C&O Canal, and I think I've got that on there. As I mentioned last time, everything is in with the National Park Service, and then they shut down. There's a request I think I'm looking for $250 as an earmark. I'm guessing it's gonna be less than that because the post is already there. I think they can use the existing post. So the 2 signs are about $100 each is what they're proposing. I don't know how the payment process works or anything like that. It may go through Canal Towns, but until the National Park Service rep is back in the office, there's nothing more I can really do about that. But I think that's gonna help get people this way. So that's the one sign. Then I'm looking to do a larger sign as well through Canal Towns that'll talk a little bit more about the history of the town, which would be right there where the path tees off to bring people this way. So we kind of figure out what kind of history we want to put on there that meets the National Park Service standards. I think that'll start to bring people this way as well if we talk about the Pawpaw history. Next Canal Town meetings are November 12th in Poolsville, and then December 10th in Shepherdstown, and that'll finish out the year. TBS meeting, there's a couple outbriefs from the West Virginia Tourism Conference, and here's some big numbers to share. Outdoor activities are a growing draw for travelers across the United States, and West Virginia is really on track to take advantage of that. Tourism in West Virginia is a $9.1 billion economic driver. 77.2 million visitors visited West Virginia in 2024, which is an amazing number given the size of our population. $6.6 billion in direct dollars were spent. West Virginia tourism was up 28%, which is more than twice the national average of 12%. I was at a meeting a year ago and West Virginia was kind of near the bottom, and the comment was, we're probably just not taking advantage of what we have. We don't belong at the bottom, we have a lot more growth to go, and I think we're seeing that. 61,000 jobs support tourism. We have the highest visitor return rate in the country, which means people don't visit here just once. And Dusty and I talk about how the Eastern Panhandle is kind of the gateway to West Virginia. And if you come to the Eastern Panhandle and you like what you see, you're more likely to go further into the state. So he's playing that up a lot with West Virginia tourism to say, hey, help us fund Berkeley, Hampshire, Jefferson and Morgan counties to get people in here, see how good the state is, and then they'll go further into it. And then part of it is seniors have money to spend, and that's the target audience. And I think we look at seniors as being different. I'm almost 60, so I guess I'm starting to reach that point. I don't want to consider myself a senior, but they have money to spend. And the thought is get them here. Part of what we've talked about in the past was the gravel trails biking. That's just about wrapped up. Several trails are starting or ending here in Paw Paw, which is going to be really good. I saw a recent report that said there's a lot more gravel trail cyclists because it's getting so dangerous to ride on roads. So they're looking for places to come. And quite a few people that ride the canal are also gravel cyclist enthusiasts. So that's the next step. And if you're a cyclist, you have to have one of every bike. So it's a growing segment that people don't have the bikes and they're looking to get out. So the contract is just about wrapped up for the grant money. I think the last bit is some marketing work that's going to be done to help sell those trails. I think it's 75 miles of trails in Morgan County. Region 9 is interested. I know we've been talking with some folks at Hampshire County too about how we tie in a bigger area, and the goal is to get all the way to Morgantown by bike. That is the ultimate goal. We're key in doing that. I think that's it. Do you want me to go ahead and talk the other items as well, or?
Oh, well, yes.
While I'm at it? Okay. So Mark from Community Market will be coming, I think next month. He's on the agenda to give his overview of how the pilot program went. But he said, go ahead and share my thoughts. And I thought it went really, really well. The pilot market program was well. Pre-sales peaked at 28. Last one was 22, but I think a lot of that had to do with the 3-day weekend. But it still was a really good turnout for the pilot season. We received a lot of positive comments. People said it's much nicer than standing in Berkeley Springs in a gravel parking lot. I think having the musician really helps, so we're hoping to see some more of that in the spring when he returns. The Master Gardeners were out there. My wife and I signed up 10 people who were interested in the Master Gardeners course. So we're looking to do a watch party using the senior center so people don't have to drive all the way to Berkeley Springs to do that. And the president of the Master Gardeners on board with doing that. My wife is too. So hopefully those 10 folks who've said they're interested will follow through. But that's a really high number. I've done the farmers market in Berkeley Springs, and if we get 4 or 5 names over a year, that's a lot. So to get 10 in just a handful of dates was really, really good. I put the park name on there, and it's because every time I hear someone mention the Sewer Pond Park, I shudder. I know it goes by a couple different names. I've heard the Paw Paw Municipal Park, the Paw Paw Memorial Park. I know there's a sign out there referring it to the Paw Paw Municipal Walking Trail built in memory of Drew Shambaugh. What I would like the town to please consider is perhaps naming it the Riverfront Park. Having riverfront access is a really big deal in marketing. So to go that route, I'm talking, it's the whole area is the Riverfront Park complex. You have the Welcome Center, you have the walking trail, eventually you'll have some sporting fields, but you have that riverfront, and I think that will draw people there, and I won't have to shudder every time I hear Sewer Pond Park, because it's a wonderful spot, and it's a great place. So I'm putting that out there. And then the last bit, the EDA. Now, I don't know if you all know, but in November 2020, the Morgan County Commissioners appointed a rep on your behalf to the board. EDA, that position is coming up December 31st, 2025 to start the next 3-year round in 2026 in January. I would like to be considered for that position, given the work I'm doing with Canal Towns, the work I'm doing with Travel Berkeley Springs. I also have an economic interest in this town. I have sunk a lot of my time, sweat, and tears into what I'm doing here, and plus the money in renovating the church into a restaurant. So I'd like you all to please consider me for filling that position starting in January.
Do we only get one representative?
I don't know how I've read the rules. I don't think the town of Bath necessarily has one position either. I think that was created at that meeting in November 2020.
How do you get on it?
Will
I
be
have
appointed.
I have to apply. My thought was I hand you all the application and you all submit a cover letter saying, when the time is up, we would like you please consider David Abruzzi to fill our slot. I'm coming to these meetings, like it rolls in with everything else I'm doing, so I ask that you please consider that. So,
Definitely.
I guess if we're looking at voting or things that need a motion would be the 250 is an earmark. Maybe looking at the Riverfront Park, there's no hurry about that, and then the EDA nomination.
Make a motion to give him the 250 for the sign.
Second.
Make a motion for him to be the representative.
Second.